to meet you all. This is my first podcast ever. I'm super excited to start this little journey. My name is Anne. I'm a knitter, French knitter based in the UK. And I do other things in my normal life, but knitting takes so much of my time. And I'm very passionate about this, so I thought I'd share a little bit of my knitting journey over here on YouTube. So there you go, nice to meet you all. Today I thought that for my first video ever, I won't break the rules and I'll just start with a very classic knitting podcast. So I'm gonna go through what I recently finished. I'm not giving myself a time frame of like, oh, this is what I've knit in a month. This is what I recently finished. It could have been, 3 months ago, but this is what just speaks to my mind, and I've finished those, and I thought I'll present them to you, what's currently on my needles. I don't have any acquisition this month, so I won't present those, but there you go, and maybe what I've been, contemplating knitting in the near future, with this beautiful summer season starting. And over, as is well on the way. To be fair, it's been boiling. I don't think it's officially summer, but it's been so hot it definitely feels like summer. So there you go. One of the first objects I finished recently. Let me see when I actually finished it. Finished it in May. So about a month or so ago. We are now mid-June, so that gives you a timeline. I finished the Marysia Cardigan by the designer Vert, and I'll show you what it looks like now. So maybe if I set it like this, yeah. So this is the Marysia Cardigan. It's this beautiful full cable cardigan. So I've knitted this one in the size medium, I believe. And I've used the yarn, it's the Cascade 200 Superwash yarn, and the colour is Cold Blue Heather. So a very classical royal blue, as you can see. I've changed a couple of things about the pattern. I've done a rib, twisted rib button, collar, cuffs and rib. Just have fancy doing that instead of what the pattern recommended. But there you go, this is what it looks like. I'll insert a video of me before blocking and after blocking, just to give you some idea. But this is a lovely pattern by Vert, and she's very size inclusive, so I think it goes up to, let me have a look, extra small to 5XL. It's a pay pattern, but it's a really lovely finish up object, so I can only but recommend. It did take me a while to finish. I've done the full length and the sleeves were really long, but I'm so happy with the finished object that it's one of those, it was a little bit hard to go through and to finish it, but as soon as I finished it, I'm just so happy with it. What drew me the most with this pattern is this beautiful cables that are on the raglan. Well, I should have said it's a top down raglan pattern. I think it's in DK weight. Yeah, it's in DK weight yarn, and the recommended needle size is 4. When as you can probably see from the video, when I first blocked it, it was very tight around my hips and I was just not too satisfied with it. But of course I used a superwash wool, so when I did block it, it just drapes really nicely. It is 100% wool, so it is very warm. I'm not going to wear it for the next few months, I reckon, but if it's a chilly summer night, why not? It just, so far, I've just capitalized on it from May, but since June has knocked around the corner, I've just not really grabbed it. But it's just a very beautiful classical piece, and I think I will use it all the time. I went for very simple, if it focuses on there, not sure. Very simple buttons. It kind of goes in hand with the classical feel. I really wanted the buttons that she has on on hers, like flower buttons, but I just couldn't find any. So I went for those ones. I'm not too sure how I feel about them. I might change them. It's just buttons. I could reuse them for something else. But yeah, very happy with this one. And this was one of my first object. Well, the first object I finished in May. Another finished object is a little bit of a fun one. One of my friends is is pregnant at the minute. And I've asked her what she wanted me to make for the baby, and she mentioned a baby blanket. I'm like, oh, don't really know how I feel about blankets, but I'll do it. Give it a try. It's a baby one, so it's a lot faster because it's smaller. And this is what I did. There you go. So it's a log cabin blanket. And the pattern, let me have a look what name it is. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I've used mostly DK weight yarn from a stash, so it's a great stash buster. It was quite easy to do, and I actually really enjoyed doing it. It was very mindless, and I just gravitated towards that instead of my slightly more complicated pattern. So I'm super happy with the finished object. There's just a few things I would have done differently, and the more, you know, rows I did, the more I understood how to finish it properly. You start with the 2 square in the middle, and then you go for a rectangle, and then you go up and down and on the side, on and on and on, until you have a blanket of the size you need. So this is the right side, but obviously picked up the stitches on the wrong side here. But after I got used to it. So if you look at the back, some of the pickup stitches are not quite as nice and neat, and then I figured it out, and then I made the most beautiful pickup on this row. Well, not quite, but on this bit it's really nice and neat. And then I did manage to understand what I did right, and then I just did it for the rest. So yeah, it was really nice to actually learn, because it's so focused on those little details, and those details you usually don't overthink them when you do a garment because you want to get through the next step. But this is quite, you know, you pick up stitches as many you know, rectangle as you add, so it's an inherent part of the design. So I think it was really interesting for me to see that part of construction and to learn from this little pattern. So yeah, let me put up the pattern for you. Pattern name is Log Cabin Blankie by Rachel Brockman. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry. I've used DK, but I mean, you could literally use whatever you have. And then I use just scrap acrylic yarn. And the reason is they're first time parents, and I don't really want to burden them with something they have to hand wash. Maybe if I do another one when he's grown older, I could use more noble fiber, but this was just perfect. And there's nothing wrong with acrylic. It works perfectly fine in this project, so that got me through some of my scrap, which I'm desperately trying to get rid of. So yeah, very, very happy with that one. Free pattern, you can't really go wrong with it. It's a nice construction. It's a bit repetitive, but of course it would be with a blanket. So yeah, very happy with this one. Lovely. On to the next one. Another pattern that finished object I could present to you are socks. I finished those beautiful, beautiful socks. So this is the second one, by the lovely, ever so talented sock designer, This Handmade Life. Yeah, so the sock pattern is called Simply Ribbed Socks by This Handmade Life. She's a wonderful sock designer. She has so many free sock pattern. This one is not, this is a pay pattern, but I've made some of her free patterns before. They're perfectly accessible, really well written, and so I thought I'd give back by buying a pattern from her, and I've chose this sock, which I thought the construction was just beautiful. So if you can see, so it's a 2x2 ribbing socks, and then when it comes to the cuff, the ribbing follows to create this beautiful hill. It's a short row hill, incorporating those ribbing. So I just think it looks beautiful. I went for a very classic colour, just to show off the construction, but honestly I think I'm going to make more of those. It's beautiful. I'm super happy with those. So I blocked them. I used Drops Fable sock yarn for those, which I don't have the label yet. I used slightly over a ball, so I had to like start a new one just for the smallest amount. I think I was about near the cuff when I ran out of the yarn, but this is fine. I could either do a shorter version of those or just keep it in my stash for like accents and stuff like that. It's a very economical yarn because I think a ball of 50 grams cost about £2, and this often have sales on wool warehouse and stuff like that, so it's worth having a look. It's not the most, it's not the best sock yarn, but it does the job so well, and for that price you really can't go wrong. I think especially if you knit so much, imagine having especially a pair of socks, you can whip some out in, I don't know, a week or so. You don't want to be spending 10 quid every week on socks or stuff like that. So I just I have a few in my stash for that purpose of like kind of cut down the cost of my knitting, because it could get a bit pricey. But yeah, it's a really nice sock. Very, very happy with this one. I recommend this designer with my life. Let's have a look at the sizes. I've done the smallest size. I'm a size UK 5, European size I'm a 37 to 38. So, but I usually go for the lower, like the first or second size. Most of the time the first size, just because it just fits a lot nicer, and I found that I used to do the second medium size and it just were too big on me all the time. So yeah, for this, yeah, so you got two sizes available, 64 stitches or 72 stitches. So just two sizes. The $3.50 US. They say it's about £2.89, so under £3. But it's worth it. The construction is beautiful. She has other socks similar, but I just saw this one was gorgeous, so I went for this one. That's not it for my finished object actually. I have a crochet project to present as well. A little bit of a palette cleanser after a bit of knitting. I did, let me grab them, some beautiful little flower coasters, because who doesn't need a coaster? I've used, for the most part, Sostren Gran cotton yarn and some scrappy yarn. I think this one is Rico. I'm not too sure, but yeah, cotton yarn. You could use acrylic if you wanted. They're very easy to do. It's once again a free pattern on Ravelry, because why paying money when you can get it for free on Ravelry? I'll put it up for you. It's a really nice, well explained pattern. Didn't have any issue with that. I do have a nice background of crochet. I used to crochet a lot, but it wasn't hard at all. If you know the single crochet, magic loop and half double crochet, that's all you need, which is lovely. I forgot to mention what I'm wearing right now, which is also a finished object from this month, and I'm so happy about it. It's the Me Almighty by Park and Knit. I'll stand up. So I made some modifications which maybe I shouldn't have, but I'll show you what it's like, present the pattern and tell you how I feel about it. So let me try to, so this is a cropped t-shirt, so I've used cotton yarn for it, a little awkward spin. I've used cotton yarn for it from Sostren Gran that I got when I was in Manchester. So Sostren Gran, don't know how to pronounce it, Sostren Grene, not sure, is it's like small IKEA but no furniture. It's just like houseware, homeware, and a little bit of craft supplies. So in Sutrengrad in Manchester, they had cotton yarns, a few more hair, a few actual wool yarn, and needles and stuff like that. So this is where I got it from. It's pretty cheap. I think for the ball of 50 gram, it was about £2.12, and you get quite a few meters in there. If I could grab a ball, I'll just put it down below. But it's an affordable, quite easy to find yarn. So I recommend this one. It's quite nice. It had I would recommend it, and at the same time I would say when I knitted it, it had a beautiful shine to it, which got completely lost after the first wash, so that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, I'll go through the pattern first. Cool. So the Me or My Tea by Park Williams, Park in Knit on Instagram, is a DK t-shirt using, I think in the recommended yarn is Paintbox yarn cotton DK. So it's a DK pattern. Work with needle 3.75 and 225 for the ribbing. You're supposed to have ribbings on the top bottom and have just a rolled hem at the bottom, but I've changed mine and I went for a double folded a folded hem, just to give a little bit more of a t-shirt vibe. I just fancy doing that, and I like the process of doing it. I would say maybe don't do that because it is like budging ever so slightly, as you can see. I think what I'm going to do is try the elastic thread and elastic through, or crochet a little bit of a elastic chain, just to see if that just kind of snatched it ever so slightly. It's completely fine on the colour for some reason, but yeah, for the top and sleeve hem, bottom hem and sleeve hem, it's a bit not so great, but it's completely fine. I'm okay with that. There's plenty of sizes. It goes from extra small to 5XL, so from a bust measurement of 71 centimeters to 152. So nicely sized, inclusive. You can see in the pictures on Ravelry, plenty of body shapes are using it, which I really like. I like to see what it looks like on someone that has quite a similar body type, especially, you know, I have a larger breast size and stuff like that, so you're never too sure what you're gonna get. I'm so proud of it. I'm very happy with it. It took barely no time. It grew really fast on my needles. I think that's all I have to say about this one. I'm very happy with it. Just need to modify that and then it'll be like tip top, incredible finished object. But yeah, I'll go through my whips now. So I guess the first one I'm gonna present to stay on the trend is the Me or My Tea by Park and Knit version 2. I've chose a lovely baby yellow. It's from Sidar. It's the cotton one. I got a ball there. So it's by, oh, I lost the little label. Well, it's the Sidar cotton DK weight. It's 100% cotton. It's made in Turkey and not the UK, but it's a British brand. It's quite nice. It's a lot softer than the Sutrengrad. The stitch definition, once again, with cotton is insane. So you can see there's a few, I don't know, I think I'm very, you know, like I'm just knitting on my couch and I'm not really paying attention to my tension, so I think with cotton it just shows. But live, laugh, love happens. It looks gorgeous. I made a mistake with this version. You know when you have the syndrome of the second time you knit the same garment, you get really relaxed with it, and I wasn't really reading the pattern, and I forgot to decrease twice on there, so I have not twice as many stitches, but I should have maybe like 5 or stitches less. So when I put it on, it's a little bit tight. I'm going to ignore that and hopefully it'll be fine. See where that gets me, and if it doesn't, then I'll rip it back and decrease ever so slightly more. But yeah, I'm gonna do exactly what she calls for the neckline and the sleeve, and I'm gonna do a ribbing, but I've mimicked that ribbing just there, and the reason is I want to wear this to work, and I work in the hospitality industry, so it's a little bit relaxed. I can wear crop tops, that's completely fine, but I don't want it to roll up too much, especially when I'm grabbing glasses and stuff like that. So I still want that protection that the ribbing gives me. But yeah, so far so good. Everything went fine with the pattern apart from me fucking up the shouldn't swear on YouTube. Shouldn't swear on YouTube, sorry. Me messing up the decrease. But yeah, it's a lovely pattern, so much I'm making another one. It's a very simple t-shirt, you really can't go wrong with it. So I would recommend this one 100%. Lovely, so that should be finished really soon. I just need to do the sleeves and the neckline and that'll be done. And because it's not a folded hem, it will be faster than this one as well, because obviously on the folded one you knit further than you actually want, and then you fold it and sew it at the back. But yeah, there you go. So this one is the one that I'm currently the most knitting on. The second one that I'm working on is a very different pattern, and I'm making a scrappy blanket. And this is and I'm going to butcher that name, Excavation blanket. Let me double check. Not sure how to pronounce it. Excavation blanket by Jana, Pihota. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's super easy. It's just garter stitch. And what I really adore with this one is because of that fringe, you don't actually have to weave in the end. So it's great. So I'm gonna do the blanket. I know that the Knit by Mandy, she's on YouTube, she did a pillow version on that and she did a whole video, so maybe watch that if you want more details. But I'm using just scrappy yarn that I have in stash from cones that were given away to me. I'm not sure what, court wool 80/20 shade, you know, it's very mysterious. So 3-ply for example, but I'm holding it double, and then some random acrylic yarn. I got a full bag of just scrappy yarn from former project, a lot of it from my crochet days where I did a lot of granny square jumpers. But yeah, so I got plenty of those, and I thought I used it in a very colourful, very shabby chic blanket. I don't know if that's chic, but, and I'm so happy with it so far. I could not stop knitting on it when I first started. It's just a lovely, mindless project. I've taken it upstairs because I'm trying to be more mindful of my night routine, so I'll just put on an audiobook and just knit until I'm actually normally falling asleep instead of being on my phone. So yeah, lovely pattern. It's free on Ravelry, and it's a great stash buster. Oh, and I should show you what I like the most is, obviously this is what we would consider the right size, where each row is its own colour, but I absolutely adore the other side where the colours are melting into each other and they're just so nice. So I'm super excited. Hopefully I'll work on it religiously and not give up because it's taking too long. But yeah, I'm very happy with that one so far. And the next project I have is the one I bring to work. So it's a sock project. I always have one so I can work on it during my break. It's nice and easy to carry, it's small, it's very practical. And this is one of the sock pattern from the Shorty sock set by Summerly Design, and I'm doing one of them, the scrappy one, but I'm just doing it with 2 colours. But yeah, so this is what it looks like at the minute. So I've done the cuff, I've done, you know, this ankle bit I guess, and then this is the heel flap, and I've done the heel turn, and now I'm picking up for the gusseted creases. So there you go. For the green colour, I'm using the Yorkshire Spinners signature sock yarn. I think it's the colour Heather. Not too sure, I need to double check. I don't think I have the label anymore, but it's quite a distinctive colour, so you won't miss that one. It's a lovely colour, and this is once again, it's a drops Fable yarn. I think it's called turquoise. I've already made a pair of socks out of it, and this is just this leftover from the second ball of 50-gram yarn. So I think I should be completely fine to do accent shorty sock with it. If not, I'll probably have some left over. Keep you updated. But yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm thinking summer is on the way, and I love to wear handmade socks. I wear like very chunky docks to work, and they just give me that lovely bounce and protection, and they just grip a lot nicer. And some of my, you know, store-bought shorty socks, or like little socks, they just inside the shoe, which is so annoying. So now they just get swallowed in, and then I have to like push them up again throughout the day, and it's just not it. So handmade socks is the way to go for me. So yeah, really excited about that. I mean, it's a very simple pattern. It is a paid for pattern. It's a sock set by Summer Lee. Very classic one. I bought it about a year ago, and I've already made, I think, 2 pairs out of it. That's all I had on my needles at the minute. I don't have any acquisition. The only yarns I bought, I've already knitted it up for this top. I'm trying to be economical about things. We know I have not a massive stash yarn, but I do have some, and I have plenty of cotton, so I'm trying to work through what I have. All of that being said, I did buy the yarn for the yellow top and this one. But yeah, but the yellow top, I want to say, I like to buy yarn when I'm on a holiday, like very nice, maybe local yarn from like hand dyers and stuff like that. And I was doing a weekend in Liverpool, and I just couldn't find any shops, which is very odd. If there's any of you from Liverpool here, just let me know where they are, because I was very disappointed not to find any. But yeah, but I did go to this lovely shop, which was well furnished in commercial yarns, and I bought that. I recommend that shop. It was lovely. There were plenty of sock yarns as well, a wide variety, a good amount of cotton, really well furnished. People were really lovely as well. So if you're in Liverpool and you don't know that shop, I would recommend that one. But all of that being said, that's the only one I managed to find. So there you go. But yeah, so no acquisition. I was thinking of showing you what I could potentially do. What I was thinking of doing. There's one I really want. A cotton jumper, maybe like coastal style, with maybe some stripe and then a little collar for summer nights and stuff like that. I think that would be really lovely. I've not found a pattern yet. I think I've seen some on Instagram, so I just need to research that. But this is what I'm thinking for the next project. I also been looking at another pattern that I found on Ravelry. It's the Michel top by Camille Marine, which I'm guessing she's French. Yeah, so it's available in English and French. It's this lovely pattern. I'll just put it there. Using Baby Merino by Drops. I wanted to use cotton. I wanted to use the yellow yarn I had, but I just didn't buy enough. So I gave up on this idea, and I just like this one so much. I really wanted a second one. But this is something I've been considering, like a slightly warmer top, but still nice and breezy enough. I live in the UK. It's honestly not that warm. So I could get away with it. Especially I obviously work inside and we run around everywhere. So I do need t-shirts, or I don't wear long sleeve, I don't wear knitwear when I'm working. So I don't mind wearing knitted top in the winter as well, even if it's cotton. So I was thinking of doing that one. There's not that many projects on Ravelry, so I don't know if anyone tested it, but I just saw it and I thought it was the most beautiful thing ever. So I'm thinking of doing this one. I might just even buy the recommended yarn. Why not? Why not? But yeah, this is what I was thinking of doing. I really want to do maybe a crochet bag or some kind of a bag for summer. I think that would be really nice as well. But yeah, and some more socks, of course. I don't have a pattern in mind, but I do want to have some with a lace pattern in it, just so I could continue wearing them in the summer and be nice and breathy. But yeah, I think that's about it for me. I hope everything made sense. I have a few ideas for video that might come out in the future, so stay tuned. Hopefully I'll get them out as soon as possible. But yeah, I have a knitting Instagram if you want to join me on there, and you can follow me on Ravelry if you wish. I'm not the best at documenting what I'm working on, but if someone actually follows me, then I would have to make an effort, I guess. But yeah, I think that's all for me. I wish you all a very nice day. I'll see you very soon.